How's it going? This is another video, and this video is basically me just stating how I feel about people who flip-flop. Now, I don't mean your opinions can't change and things, you gain a deeper understanding. No, I mean people who jump on the bandwagon with popular sentiment and then afterwards look like damn fools because they didn't understand historical precedents. And I'll tell you what I mean. In this community, we've had people who basically said, oh, well, when the 3DS came out, oh, Nintendo's lost it. Nintendo doesn't know what they're talking about. No one wants 3D in video games. The Vita's gonna kill the 3DS. The smartphones are gonna kill the 3DS. Never mind that the modern handheld market as we know it has been dominated by Nintendo. And they haven't dominated it through shady business practices like Microsoft or, hyped up tech wars like Apple or Samsung. Nintendo has dominated the handheld market by putting out a solid product that's affordable with awesome games. That's it. Now, I mean, and if you look through history, as I stated in the previous video, history repeats itself. If you look through history, you see a constant set of, more powerful handhelds that went toe-to-toe against Nintendo's handheld and got their ass handed to them, even though they were technically more powerful. The Game Gear kicked the original Game Boy Color's ass. More colors. It had the battery life of a fart. Like 30 minutes. But it was gorgeous. Those were some gorgeous 30 minutes. If you had the AC adapter where you could plug it into the wall, you could play your Genesis games on your Game Gear, but your Game Gear games on your Game Gear. Same thing with the Nomad. The problem was that the battery life was shit, and if your Game Gear or Nomad got broken, you were fucked. They were expensive to repair, is what I mean. So basically, Nintendo, the history of the handheld market is littered with more powerful hardware. More powerful hardware than what Nintendo had, and it getting destroyed. The only handheld that gave any type of real chance of going toe-to-toe against Nintendo's handheld was the Wonder Swan. And the only reason that had a chance was because it was made by the same dude who made the Game Boy, Gunpei Yokoi. That's it. That's it. It took the father of the Game Boy to come up with something that could go toe-to-toe against Nintendo's handhelds. And when he died, the Wonder Swan died with him. Okay? Think about that, okay? So people were jumping onto the bandwagon. No one's going to buy the 3DS. No one's going to spend this much money. So Nintendo said, okay, you motherfuckers. You don't want to pay this much money? We'll drop the price by $50. Have the ambassador program and put out some of our quality titles. And once again, Nintendo handhelds dominate. Okay? It's a fact of life. Okay? Nintendo handhelds will dominate the market. I don't know why Sony made the Vita. I have no idea why the fuck they even made the Vita. I don't know who okayed that program. The PSP did well, but because Sony likes to combine numbers, the original PSP sold like 30 million compared to the 30 million, 40 million. But compared to the 150 plus million of the DS, the original PSP got outsold 5 to 1. Okay? 5 or 3.5 to 1. Okay? So for every 3.5 DS handheld, one person bought a PSP. The original PSP. Then there was the PSP Go, which was an abysmal failure. It didn't even break 5 million, I don't think. Then there's the Nexus and that fucking phone. Then there's the PSP 2, which was like, oh God, Sony. They so desperately want a piece of that pie, but Nintendo has shorn up the handheld market. You're not getting into that door, not unless you can make something cheaper that has better games. And I don't see anyone make anything cheaper than what Nintendo offers with better games, okay? When I was a kid, there were two kings of handhelds, okay? There was the high king of handhelds and the low king of handhelds. The high king was Nintendo and their Game Boy, and the low king was Tiger Electronics. Tiger Electronics is what your parents got you when they didn't want to get you a fucking Game Boy. Okay, but back to the point, people flip-flopping back and forth. Now, when the 3DS started kicking everything's ass, we have, we always knew the 3DS was going to do well. Now, you motherfucker, I remember you making a video about how it was going to do poorly. It's YouTube. You didn't delete that video. I can see it. You sack of shit. If you go further back, you can remember people bashing on the Wii. Remember the Wii? This motion control. The Wii is kitty. It's never gonna take off. Sony and Microsoft are gonna bury the Wii. Oh really? Really? Okay. So, if you believe the Wii is going to get buried, I guess that's your prerogative. But don't flip-flop on me now that the Wii starts taking off. Oh my god, the Wii is awesome. No, motherfucker, you got on that boat, you're going to stay in it. You can't get on my boat. My boat is watertight. Your boat is sinking. You can't get on my boat now that your boat had holes in it. Okay? And now we're seeing it, we saw it with Super Mario 3D World. The demo came out, everyone's like, oh, that demo looks like shit. Okay, if Nintendo was like Sony or Microsoft and showed their games running on high-power PCs, I would agree with you. Because none of Sony and Microsoft's games ever look as good as what they look like on their high-power developers' PCs. They never do, because it's a fucking developer's PC. It's kind of like if you're in a little shitty Toyota Tercel, your car is never going to be as fast as a professional race car. You're never going to make those types of time, because they have a fucking professional race car and you're driving a Toyota Tercel. Sorry, ain't gonna happen. But Nintendo always shows their shit when it comes to like live demos. Their shit is running on the hardware. It's a demo build running on the hardware. Okay? Think about that. That means that no matter how bad it looks, by the time it gets released, golden, it's gonna look like 10, 15 times better. Stop flip-flopping, you motherfuckers. Use your brain. Use your brain and go against popular sentiment, because clearly history repeats itself. You're going to lose. Shit happens. Get over it. Stop flip-flopping. I cannot take you seriously if you're constantly going back and forth. Okay? Choose a stance, go with it. Okay? But that's just how I feel. Okay? Choose a stance, go with it. Like, okay, you come to this channel, I readily admit I am a Nintendo fan. Love Nintendo. Buy all their systems early. Okay? I have not bought a Sony system when it first came out, ever. But the Sega never did. Well, okay, the Dreamcast I bought early. But everything else, never bought early. Nintendo, always am an early adopter. Why? Because they give me a quality product, great first party, second party, third party exclusives, and I can't complain about that. Okay? I get the games I like. I have a solid system that isn't going to break on me. I'm a Nintendo fan, but it would be odd if you came here and Nintendo started doing badly, and then I just like sit there and say, well, fuck Nintendo, I'm going with the PC. PC Master Race. No. I'd be you would say, this motherfucker can't make up his mind. That's what you would say. So, my point is that flip-floppers get on my nerves. You know, pick a stance, stick with it. Now, I'm not saying you should be just obstinate and obdurate and just in the face of all reason, but pick a stance, go with it. And before you pick a stance, don't just pick a stance because it's popular. or because it, other people are going with it. Actually put some thought into what your position is, okay? And look at historical precedents before you go out there on that limb. Because when the branch breaks, I ain't saving your ass. I ain't gonna say nothing except, well, you're a flip-flopper. I can't take you seriously. We have quite a few people in this community who are constantly flip-flopping back and forth. And I don't just mean the little people. I'm talking big time, big names people flip-flopping. Okay? We can't have that. Especially when things are constantly, not going well for you, But this is just a treatise on flip-flopping. I can't stand it. Pick a stance, stick with it. Don't just pick a stance that's popular sentiment, because sometimes the group is stupid, okay? A single individual can be smart. Human beings are like anti-ants, okay? One ant is stupid, okay? 2 ants are smarter than 1 ant. 3 ants smarter than 2 ants. Now, once you get into 100, 150, 200 ants, they start to act really smart. Human beings are different, okay? 1 human being, very smart, visionary. 2, a little bit dumber. 4, a little bit dumber still. Once you start getting to, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, that's a dumb population. Stupid, okay? We're not like ants. We don't have that level of mental acuity to be able to think well in groups. So don't just automatically jump on popular sentiment, because people love to go with the herd, but I don't. I stick to my guns. I go with what I'm going with, and I have historical precedents to back me up. So it is what it is. Well, you guys have a good day. This is just my treatise on flip-flopping.